Let's roll for Trucko! Welcome back to Roll for Trucko. This is Frank, and we are continuing the Independent TTRPG month or Independent TTRPG. I had made a character using a monster stat, and the one of the class stats from Wizard, sorry, Basic Fantasy, the role playing game. This is the fourth edition. So they have the Barkling, and so that's what I made. It's a wizard Barkling or a magic user Barkling. There's a link in the description for that video if you want to see that being made. But I'm continuing that by giving him a spell book or a a book that could house spells or a nice looking journal. Now, I did roll some stats, so I'm going to read off the stats that I rolled. For strength, and I rolled 3d6s, and I also rolled for the money. So for strength, I got 6, intelligence 12, wisdom 7, dexterity 12, constitution 17, charisma 10, and I did add some modifiers that I got from an example sheet. It here in the basic fantasy, there's an example sheet of character stats. So I just copied the modifiers from there, and I added them where it said to add them. So for the money, I rolled again 3d6s, and so I got 70 gold pieces. That's the amount, the amount shown on the dice times 10. So I rolled 7. I got 70 gold pieces. I did the same for the spells. For level 1, you start off with read magic, and you choose one spell. Either the GM either rolls for you or allows you to choose your own. I decided just to roll it. There were 12 spells, so I used a D12. Where's my? Oh, it's here somewhere. Oh, right here. So I used a D12, and I landed on floating disc, which is great because that's one that I was looking at. Because what I want to do, if I'm able to, I don't know if I'll be able to with all of them, but to adjust or modify the spells just a little so they represent that it's a Barkling's version of that spell. With floating disc, it's gonna look a lot like a frisbee. That's gonna be the floating disc. So, all right, so that's the stats, and so I'm gonna make a nice looking spell book, but I'm gonna do two versions. So I'm gonna do a physical version that I'll show how I made it, and I'm also going to do uh, a version that you can download and print out. So it's going to be designed on my laptop, and I'll leave a link where if you want to download your own, you're able to. So let's get to it. First, I'm gonna make my pages. This could also be your cover. You can also make your cover like this. So I'm gonna get a sheet of paper. This regular printer paper, nothing fancy. You can use any textured paper that you want. I'm just gonna do something simple. You can use resume paper for your pages if you want. So first you fold your sheet of paper in half, then fold it in half again. And there it is. This could be your cover. Cover, back cover, and just the inside. And what you can do, you can cut it here, cut between the folds here on top, and this will be your pages. Now I want to add more, so I have 2 extra sheets, but I want my cover to look a little nicer, so this is going to be part of the pages. That's going to be the pages as well. For the cover, I'm going to use this cardstock, and I'm also going to use this tone cardstock to go over the cover. So the this initial cardstock will be the bones inside of the book. So I'm going to cut these to size, and I already have everything prepared. So I had already done that. So I did get 2 out of this. So the extra sheet I can use either for scrap paper, or I can just include it in there. And what I'll probably do is so this is going to be the bones, but on the extra one that I have, which is around here, here it is. This will, I'll draw out my character again, and I might just like trace it on there. I could print it out and just, glue it on there, but I think I'll draw it out. And I'll draw out the, so I'll draw it, actually I'll draw it here on this, and I'll have my stats here, and here I can have a little bit of the bio, the backstory, or like notes that Reno did, and here I can more notes, whatever I want to add on to there. So what I'm gonna do, so the pages look decent. I'm going to dip them in coffee, a little bit of coffee, and age them out, make them look aged, and I'll leave them overnight. And yeah, then I come back and add the pages. But before that, I want to work on the cover a bit. Let me put these aside right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to emulate the book how I drew it, just a little bit. I did add some things, so you're going to see that in the video where I made it into a digital printout, where you can just print it out as a file and use that if you want. All right, so I took the original drawing. Here is when I was drawing it. I took that and bam, I improved on it. I made this layout. The first thing that I did, I realized I drew the wrong type of paw, so I did fix that. I added the little diagram there. And I added a gem. I thought that would be cool to add a little gem. So I did the extra pages, and I added a little squirrel with the name Book of Howls. On some scrap cardstock, I drew out, colored, and cut out the paw print. So I have all the little bits here. And I also did these corners. This is just scrap paper, scrap cardstock. And I colored with some alcohol markers. Here's footage of the the pages being aged. I dipped the pages in this coffee. It is coffee. I know it looks like tea. It's kind of light there. What I did was I had some coffee grounds from the day before. I was going to throw them out, but instead of throwing them out right away, I decided to just reuse them. I ran some water, and that's why it looks it looks like tea. You know, I didn't want to make a fresh pot of coffee that I was just going to use just to age this. I just wanted a light colored, not too much. It was the first time I was doing it. I didn't want to drink a whole pot of coffee. It was late at night. But I did. I laid out the pages after I finished deepening them and just had them there on this pan, on this cake pan. They're still a little wet, so I did put them in the oven for just a few seconds. I didn't leave it there too long. It was late at night, but I left them out drying, and here they are. They're done. So this was the night before. I think they came out pretty good. Okay, so let's get back to the book. Now I'm going to start on the cover here. I applied Mod Podge on both sides of the cardstock. I lined up the mid-tone paper. I had the little corners there and the paw print and also the ribbon title that says Book of Howls. So for the crystal here, I'm going to use this glass stone, flat glass stone. I bought a bunch of these at one point. It's clear, so I just did it again here, but I just got this marker. It's a dry erase marker. Can be any color, doesn't matter, because it's going to go glued. So I'm going to glue it right here in the center, but to make sure it's nice and sturdy, I'm going to use some hot glue. But what I'm going to do is, because I didn't really want to leave the gun heating up and forget about it, I cut a piece off here and I colored that piece purple as well as an extra precaution. So I have it right here. So what I'm going to do is heat it up right here on this on the gem. But I'm going to do that not on this table. So that's the cover. I'm going to fix up some of these some of this here a little bit more. That might end up coming off because I did use it as hinges, but that might not work. I did leave these overnight, so these I actually prepared the night before. And on the pan that I had there, it picked up some of the just a dinge there, which kind of added onto it. It looks like it's been like just sitting in an attic for a while, and so these I just dipped a little bit into some old coffee, just old coffee grounds. I didn't prepare a fresh pot. Heat it up. Oh, not heat it up. Just let it air dry. So I thought, this would look pretty cool. So it's a thin magic book. I figured, what, you probably maybe add more. So what I decided to do is, what, I'm just gonna add more now. So these I did prepare while I was working on the cover. So I made a fresh pot of coffee. Dip these quickly, just let them soak up a little bit, not too much, and then I did bake them for a few seconds, not that long, 30 seconds on one side, and then I flip them over for another 30 seconds, and then I put them in the microwave and heating them up for another 30 seconds, so they are dried and crisp. I could have left them there longer, but I didn't want to forget that they were there while I was working on this. So, but yeah, I got these done. So now I'm going to prepare the pages, cut them, and get them ready to be inside the book. We're almost there. We're getting closer to finishing the book. I cut the pages in half so each individual page is able to turn. I lined everything up. I had my long arm stapler. I missed a few times. Finally, I got it right in the center, and I added some Mod Podge on the covers for texture. So that's the magic book. I added some Mod Podge on the covers. So when it dries, it'll give it a nice little glossy shine. It's a nice texture. So I'm gonna let this dry and put it on the side. And I printed out the black and white version. And I did make a version without the this little diagram that I just kind of like made up. I think I saw something similar. I just wanted lines and triangles. And but yeah, and I didn't do it on the cover, so I might do that later. And these are the pages I had made. Did it get a little cropped off here? But what I'm gonna do before I release the file, I'm just gonna move it down a little bit on everything. And this one I only did these pages. And this one should be a lot simpler. Here's the zine version of the spell book, the Book of Howls. This one was just not that many pages. Mostly I was just cutting off the excess paper, lining everything up, and it's done. Ta-da! The Book of Howls in all its glory. Look at it. Look at the books. And here we got Reno's spell book, the Book of Howls. And, that's a reference to the Book of Shadows, also, keeping it dog themed, dog-like themed. What I ended up doing, because I had this leftover that I was gonna insert there, and I forgot, which actually turned out to be a good thing, because with the white just contrasting it wouldn't really blend. What I'm gonna do with this, I'm going to do the same thing, age it, make it look vintagey, agey, with some coffee, and then bake it for a little bit or heat it up in the microwave, which is what I did with some of these pages. And I'm gonna turn one side into a map, and the second side will be a dungeon. So it could be, so I'm gonna do something with this. But what I did do to cover up the white pages on the inside, I do have some vintage paper that I bought on Amazon, but a little stack. I wanted to make my own pages, and I actually forgot I even had these. But so I folded it in half and cut off the excess. One page I Mod Podged here, so that's. And so this is an extra page. I did the same for the back. And to cover up some of the white that was being shown, I got some ink and just kind of mixed it around and did a little bit of an ink wash. So it's not a perfect blend, but I think it's fine. So what I will be doing here, I'll be drawing Reno. So I'll probably just do his character portrait with his name. Next page, his stats. And on here, I'm gonna start drawing the spells. So his first spell, I'm gonna draw it out to make it look like a frisbee. And on the back, I'll put like a little bit of his backstory, his info about him. And so I could use this to put more spells, keep it as a little journal as well, write down important notes. And it has a coffee scent to it, so I like how it came out. I have this one as well, and it's just a few pages. Whoa! I think there's a time vortex. Something happened. Put this aside for just a minute. So that scrap cardstock that I was gonna use for pages, and I said I will use it for a map and a dungeon. It's already aged. It's ready. It just needs to be drawn on. So what happened is some footage that I had recorded. Either it didn't record, or it, when I was moving out files, I accidentally deleted it. So I was having some issues recording, and I had to make space. So it either didn't record, or either way, it got deleted. It didn't happen. Like it's like it doesn't exist anymore. So I'm redoing this. This is actually hours later. I saw this when I was editing. So, but it gave me time to actually show. I actually able to show this. So this is already done. It just needs to be drawn on. A cool thing that happened. So what I did, I soaked this in coffee. This is the cardstock. So I soaked it in coffee. And as soon as I finished soaking it, I put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. It was still just a little bit moist. So I just put it back in for maybe 10 to 15 seconds. Let it dry. So it's actually been a few hours afterwards. So let it dry. It's nice and dry. What happened here was that it was getting these like little bubble marks, so it was kind of like it was cooking. And the bubbles, they went down. So what I'm gonna do, this is gonna be the side where I will draw my map. So I'm gonna use this as part of the map. And I'm gonna roll some dice or use something to just do the shapes. The back will be the dungeon. So I do have an idea. I'm gonna have like a little section where it'll be a cave or something, like a little hideaway. And you go inside the cave. That's where you're gonna go to the dungeon. So that's almost done. Back to this. So this is the just a very simple. The simple, I guess they're all paper, but like the zine version. You can add more pages there. I do have a sheet with, or I do have a layout that has 2 pages, so you can print out as many of those. Make it a nice thick book. Just to put it in the middle and staple it. And you got your own Book of Howls. Oh yeah, forget. So, Book of Howls. Book of Howls. I did misspell it when I was writing it here. It's from the perspective of Reno, the Barkling magic user, so he might not know how to spell Howls. And yeah, I just misspelled it. That was it. And I was gonna change it. I was gonna fix it. But you know what? Actually, it works for the character. So it would be something that he did after he got his book. So he probably just named it himself. So. This one I can use it pretty much. Since it's a smaller, thinner book, inventory, just so everything, all the basics. You can put more spells here as I go along. Just money, gold pieces, things that Reno buys and acquires. It'll just be here in this smaller one. And I'll still do the stats. I can do a little doodle. But this will make mainly just like, just for inventory. This one, I can use it for character journaling. So flesh out the character a little bit more. Write some notes in here. Some, oh, today after, whatever, after we fought the monster, just writing his notes, writing your stuff that happened, as well as spells. I will be doing the character stats and a little portrait here. I will write his a little bit of his backstory here, maybe on this pages. But I thought those would be cool. Not just keeping the stats, but actually fleshing out the character as I play him. I'll be doing solo plays, just working on the character, growing the character, and just getting the hang of the basic fantasy system. So I thought this will be really cool to do that with. So still smells like coffee. So. Next book I do, I might not use coffee. I might use soy sauce, as suggested by Bob Roadbuilder on a video he just did recently at the time I'm recording this. So these are my magic books, my spell books, inventory, and character journaling. You want to print out your own? I will have the black and white version, the color version, and versions without the little diagram here. It's basically an A with wings. It doesn't mean anything. Just made stuff up. So this will be available to print out. I'm gonna fix the pages so everything prints entirely. And there will be in the description below, so check that out. Use it however you want. You think this looks cool? Let me know. I will be posting pictures on my Instagram, Roll for Truckle. I also have my my Facebook page, which is just my name, Frank Salazar, and then you'll see a caricature version of myself, and I'll have pictures on there as well. I'm in the Basic Fantasy Facebook group as well as the Discord. In the Discord, I did modify my name to be Roll for Truckle. On the Facebook group, it's just my name, Frank Salazar. But if you go on my regular page, I'll have pictures on there as well. So this has been Frank Salazar for Roll for Truckle. See you next time. Let's roll for Truckle.